Oh, okay. It has been a rough last few days of training, no doubt about that. Um, yeah, I guess that's what I'll talk about this time around. I don't really have a whole lot planned, nothing really mapped out, as I usually don't when I do these. Because right now, it doesn't really matter. Hardly have any viewers, hardly have any subscribers. It doesn't really matter. But I'm just going to talk about my training a little bit right now, my own training that I'm doing. In the mornings, I do about 45 minutes of training in the morning, and it's mostly just all mobility and then handstand training, which is something I've recently gotten into the last week or so, and that's going pretty good. And I've just been doing it every day, not pushing myself too much, but doing enough to challenge myself and finding out where my weaknesses are. Now, when it comes to handstands, let's talk about that for just a quick little minute. When it comes to handstands, I can kick up against a wall just fine. I can even balance halfway decent against a wall, but I can't just kick up and do a freestanding handstand. If you know what that is, that means just putting your hands on the ground and kicking up, not using anything for assistance or anything to help your balance or whatsoever. But I can do it up against a wall pretty easy. It's not really much of a challenge for me. And I can hold it for maybe a good minute or so, which isn't that long, but it's long enough for a man my age and my size. I'm quite a bit larger than average. Um, but I've been doing this handstand course, and it's a completely different approach than anything else I've ever done because whenever I tried to train handstands in the past, I would just do them against a wall. I didn't really break anything down or take a real structured approach. I would just do them up against a wall and then try to balance as best I could against the wall. But this one has me doing something very, very different. It's where you face away from the wall and you put your feet up on the wall around waist height and then push out with your legs. So your legs are kind of more or less parallel to the ground, and your hips, shoulders, and wrists get more in alignment. And I have found that to be very, very challenging. I could only hold that position for maybe 10, 15 seconds while really trying to, do the whole, raising your scapula or, extending your shoulders as far up as you can go. Because down here, handstands, you really want to play around with how well you extend your shoulders and how well or how much you can hold your shoulders at extended positions and where and all that. I'm not really sure how to describe it all yet. I'm kind of new to this kind of handstand training. But I'm finding it very, very challenging, particularly in the muscles right all around the scapula. So, like right around the deep mid part of the scapula, it's just really hitting that really, really hard in a good way. But that part, that I don't know if it's the teres minor, the teres major, but all those little muscles right around the scapula that are really challenged in that A-frame against the wall handstand position. Other than that, it's pretty simple stuff. You just kind of practice your alignment. You practice how well you can just kind of stand on your toes while you have your hands straight up over your head and getting your whole body in alignment and just holding that position for as long as you can. Or backing up against the wall while you're standing, getting your heels, your glutes, and your shoulders and your head against the wall. Try to flatten your lower back against the wall and then raise your hands up as high as you can over your head. And finding this to be all very beneficial and very challenging, surprisingly challenging as well. But beyond that, my training in the gyms in the afternoon, what I also do, which I just do old school kind of bodybuilding barbell movements, that's been kind of a rough spot. The handstand training has been going fine. I've been doing that every day for the last 10 days in a row now, mobility, handstands, where I don't really push it, but I do enough to get a good workout and challenge myself. In the gym, I've been pushing it, and I've been pushing it in ways that I haven't been able to in a long, long time. Because when I was on the road doing long haul trucking for the last 7 years, I didn't have access to any weights. I could do plenty of calisthenics, bodyweight workouts, bodyweight squats, bodyweight lunges. I could do that, until the cows come home. No problem whatsoever. But working with weights, I'm finding out my body, especially the joints, the lower back, the knees, the hips, is pretty deconditioned. And I'm not able to do near the weight that I used to do, of course, because back then I was in more or less my prime, in my mid-late 30s. That's kind of your prime as an athlete, strength-wise. That's kind of when you're able to hit the biggest numbers. But right now, I just do my main thing is just stiff leg deadlifts and squats, and I just do that with 135 pounds. And I try to do it with as good as form as possible. Try to go slow, in complete control. But even just doing that, I have one day where I do stiff leg deadlifts. The next day I do squats. Even doing that the last few weeks has really kind of taken a toll. I've had to take an extra few days off of that kind of training than I planned for. Today was supposed to be squat day, but I could tell that my lower back and my hips were just not feeling it. I needed some extra time, which is something you got to do. You got to listen to your body and give it what it needs to rest and recuperate and recover. Now, I still went to the gym. I still got a little workout in. I just did some different stuff. I did some extra stretching, did some extra, little bit extra back work, just hanging from the bars and doing some extra pull-ups, different kinds that I normally do. Did some kettlebell swings, which I hardly ever do, but I know how to do them. They're kind of fun. And I just kind of juggle the kettlebell, which I switch hands each time. I just kind of bring the kettlebell up, release it in the air, and grab it with my other hand, do the next rep. Then I did a few sets of leg presses. And I haven't done leg presses in I don't know how long. It's got to been, man, it's been well over 10 years since I've done any kind of leg presses. So that was kind of cool, and that was good. I think I'll keep working those in. I don't know if I'm going to do every other one. That might be good. One round of full body circuit. So I work my full body over 4 days, and then I take a day off. So I may be doing, one of those rounds, one of those 4-day rounds, I might be doing leg presses. The other days I might be doing squats, something like that. I think that might work really well. Anyways, I've been rambling long enough to myself. And for those of you, 1 or 2 people that come by and check out these videos, thank you. You guys are awesome. But that's it for now. We'll talk later.